What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video, and today we are doing the Bears 7-round mock draft requested by plenty of you guys, including Xavier Hidalgo, because I have to mention him on this one because I forgot him on the Eagles one. So thank you guys so much for requesting this video. Bears, if you guys are used to being here on the channel, are one of my two teams I grew up rooting for. My dad went to a Cleveland Browns game one time because his dad took him when he was a kid and started rooting for the Bears instead of the Browns. So that's a really short, boring way of saying my dad basically made me a Bears fan. So Bears fans, I sympathize with you. It's been a really rough ride. We haven't had a damn good quarterback since pretty much Jim McMahon. I mean, you can say Kyle Orton was probably our best since, because Jay Cutler really wasn't that great. He wasn't the best, and it's been rough. So let's see if we can fix anything. If any quarterbacks fall, maybe we can take them. But this doesn't seem like the draft the Bears can really do much in. They might have to trade up if we're going to be 100% honest. Maybe they'll sign Allen Robinson to franchise tag, and then tag and trade him maybe with the first round pick to move up. We don't know. So obviously, kind of that's the huge issue, is that Nick Foles has been even worse than Trubisky. And Trubisky, we all know, cannot be the long-term answer. He's just more of a guy who's there. So we got to see what's going to happen. Maybe Sam Darnold's going to be the guy. Maybe we trade a third for Sam. I don't really think that's going to be the case, and I don't think that's going to be the answer. But, we got guys like Khalil Mack who won't last forever. Roquan Smith, who will last a long time, but a lot of our defense ain't going to last forever. Thank God that we hit some home runs in the last draft, like getting Jalen Johnson, my third favorite corner in the draft, and he's turned out to be probably third best, maybe even second best. So hitting on all cylinders, Roquan Smith finally coming to his own. But let's start the draft. Let's have a little bit of fun here, and let's analyze what the hell's going to happen. Because before I speak out of my ass, of course, we'll see if we can even get a damn quarterback. I'm surprised by how fast this is coming. Oh, we got the trade offers. We got to turn off the sound, boys, because that is going to be a pain in the ass all day. Now, what's at the spot? Looking at the quarterback situation, we cannot go fifth best quarterback at 16. You guys want to do it. The Bears might do it. But again, I'm going to weave a little bit of myself into here, because I'm not going to give you, it's so much of a need that we need to take it. Guys, I think that we'd be better going down the line in the sixth round taking Tanner Morgan, for Christ's sakes. Getting the fifth best quarterback, even though I really like Kyle Trask. I watch Florida football really intensely because my brother-in-law's a Florida fan, so I watch him very closely, and he's a very good quarterback. But I don't think he's worth spending this pick on. Maybe he is. Argue with me down in the comment section, but every single analyst I've ever talked to goes a different route here. And it's either Samuel Cosmi, Jalen Mayfield, or did he already go? Christian Darrisaw. So to me, Samuel Cosmi is the best tackle in the class. Now, Christian Darrisaw has been moving up big time, so he's obviously been playing better than pretty much everybody. Jalen Mayfield as well, but Samuel Cosmi has been very consistent over his career. And the Bears, if you see anything, the offensive line's the biggest woe. So if you get a quarterback like Trask and you sit him behind a shit offensive line, he ain't going to do anything either. So I think the best route is maybe take one more year. It's hard to say, we need to take one more year. Take one more year of mediocre play. Maybe get somebody on a 1-year contract. Maybe Alex Smith on a 1-year contract, and pretty much do pretty shittily, to put it lightly, and then go after a quarterback, maybe quarterback 2, quarterback 1 the next year, and then you already have a loaded defense. They're going to be 2 years older, because obviously at this time, we're going to be about a year and a half ahead before we get a new quarterback. But they're going to be at least in a much better situation. I'd much rather drop a quarterback into a good situation, or maybe one that's decaying, than dropping a quarterback into one where he's going to get killed. I think that's probably the reason why Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins kind of suck, is because they were dropped into really shitty situations and didn't have time to develop. Now, of course, they could be asked, but we're going to be going Samuel Cosmi here. But I think that the best move, the honest best move, is to drop them into a good situation so that they can at least take some time and learn the team and not actually be pressured by pressures, to put it lightly, to put it in a very funny way. Wow, Zaven Collins went into the first. I know Tulsa's linebacker Zaven Collins is really good, and if you guys watched him this last week at a pick six, but damn, I don't know if he's first round grade. I need to watch obviously some more of him, but shit. I did not think that was going to happen, guys. And wow, Kyle Trask is going at 46. That's insane. Who the hell did they go? They went Patrick Surtain at 2. He's a good player, but he ain't worth that. That's for sure. But let's see. Maybe there's any. I don't think Mac Jones is a second round quarterback, guys. I'm gonna be honest. If I watch him, yes, second highest completion percentage in SEC history, this and that. If I'm honest, I see his wide receivers doing a lot of the help for him. If I'm gonna be straight up, he has the best wide receiver core, arguably in college football still. And he has Forrestall, who's definitely a serviceable tight end, and has Najee Harris, speaking of. Najee's going to be meeting up with Damian. I don't think that's a really good pick there. Damian's been a good stud. I see Mac Jones' deep balls, I think 1 out of every 3 of them, the wide receiver has to adjust by a couple yards, and in the NFL, you can't do that. But Bears, we're focusing on the Bears now. Quarterback was the issue, but I don't think we can take Mac Jones, man. He's not going to fit. What? Do you want another fucking Nick Foles? No, you can't take another Nick Foles here. So I don't think that's on the table. We could be going interior offensive lineman here because we all know that we lost our good old friend, Mr. Long. It's a little bit unfortunate, but there's obviously a lot more issues on this offensive line. Just the pressures are insane. So getting a tackle is definitely kind of the way that we need to go. And then wide receivers apparently starting to become a need. So it's fuck. We're kind of in between a rock and a hard place here. Josh Myers is probably the place we're going to go. Our safety core, I think we're perfectly fine. I don't know how long. I believe Gibson's back there with Eddie Jackson, but I mean, offensive line needs to be a priority right now. Brevin Jordan's been falling, and I think that's a good idea for TDN to realize that. I love Brevin Jordan until I started watching him, and realized that he was kind of replaceable on that Miami offense. So it might be a little bit of a red flag. Again, you guys are probably clamoring for Mac Jones. I don't think he's worth that value. I think maybe he's a 4th rounder. That's definitely a good spot to take him at. We can go interior defensive lineman here because there's plenty of ways we can go here, guys. People have been tearing me apart for going interior defensive line, but Akeem Hicks always gets injured, for Christ's sakes. Eddie Goldman, I mean, you need a rotation down the pass rush. But I think we're going to go with Josh Myers here. You just need to beef up that interior offensive line because we got that kid out of Iowa. I'm forgetting his name, but he's definitely has potential. James Daniels, there you go. He definitely has potential. But I think that we need to just keep this offensive line young because Leno and all these guys, the Bears' offensive line is just easily their Achilles heel. And it's starting to show. So being able to, in a way, be able to fix that offensive line, even Nick Foles, giving him some more time, because we have plenty of weapons. It's just maybe we won't be able to re-sign. Chaz Surratt's here. Man, that's gonna be kind of hard to pass up. That would be a fun guy to add to this team. But forget what I was saying. But I think dropping a quarterback into the offensive line, even if it's freaking Nick Foles, for Christ's sakes, I think that's just going to be so much better than dropping a Mac Jones into this offensive line. So we got plenty of ways we can go here. Chaz Surratt's a definite weapon. Javonte Williams is a little bit too close to David Montgomery for me. I think we need more of a scat back, which I might be targeting next round. You guys will see what happens there. Michael Carter is a great option, but I just took him. It's kind of boring for me to go back-to-back picks, so I'm not really going to go for that way with you guys. Ibrahim, same situation. I don't think the running backs need to change as much. There's a guy I'm thinking about taking here. If we lose AR-15, I think Seth Williams is kind of comparable to... It's not AR-15, it's AR-12 now. But I think Seth Williams is kind of comparable to Allen Robinson here. That might be the way we go, because Seth Williams is an absolute stud. I have him rated, I think, at the end of the second, so to get a mid-third, he's pretty awesome. He doesn't get that great of separation, but he has the body control, he has the aggressive catchability. We already have great route runners. Anthony Miller needs to reach his potential, and it's kind of embarrassing that he's not. But we have that kid out of Tulane who's done a really damn good job. He's a good separator, good route runner. We need our big threat if we're not going to be able to retain Allen Robinson. And Seth Williams is definitely going to be the target for that. I mean, why not? Seth Williams is going to add a little bit more diversity to this wide receiver core if we do lose our main number one. And even if we don't, it's always nice to have 2 big guys, because I know we have Javon Wims. I think his name's Javon. But, again, he's like a 6th rounder out of Georgia. I have a late second on our good old boy here. So I think that it's probably going to be the best way to go. And obviously with this pick, I'm going to be looking at another running back if he doesn't go. Hint, hint, he's going to be a scat back. I mean, we don't really need him per se because we will be getting Tariq Cohen back, but Tariq Cohen's contract, if I'm not mistaken, is coming up really soon too, as a third rounder a couple years ago. So it wouldn't be that bad of an idea to get the next guy in line. And plus, with all the injuries that happens to this team, Javian Hawkins wouldn't be a bad solution. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Michael Carter, I do believe, is better. I'm happy that Michael Carter moved ahead of Javian Hawkins, especially given the fact that Javian has gotten injured quite a bit. And knowing how this situation is going to go, we are not going to be able to get Javian. But, it's unfortunate. Javian Hawkins goes to the Chargers, which is a little bit bullshit. I think they need to increase their accuracy on their, or reduce the RNG of the draft simulator because that's really unrealistic. They have a lot of fucking good running backs, so I think that's kind of like the last thing they needed. However, it sometimes gives us some damn good picks, right? So at this point, this is where we need to take a quarterback. Round 5, take anybody. Sam Ehlinger is a great option here. Tanner Morgan, Sam Ehlinger. Sam Ehlinger, to me, if you guys want to see where I have him rated, I have Sam Ehlinger rated at 134, right? So right now, this is not fully updated, guys. Do not worry. Right now, I have Tanner Morgan ahead of Malik Cunningham barely, just because Malik fumbles the ball a lot. He has injuries it's a big red flag as well, so he's probably going to fall even more for me. But Malik could be the next Lamar. Just not to talk about like a Louisville quarterback as the same guy, but he is kind of similar with that run style, run first mentality. But Sam Ehlinger is an absolute stud, guys. I think that he's an absolute beast, and I think he's a little bit underrated. I think on a team where you're going to be pairing him up with his former left tackle, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Cosby's left tackle, then it's kind of a win-win, guys. So we're gonna be drafting Sam Ehlinger here. It's a little bit high, but when you go for a quarterback, I think Sam is going to be definitely worth this round 5 pick. It's definitely somebody who, he beat out the guy who's next in line, which is, wait, where the fuck? Oh, Penix is actually, I didn't know Penix was draftable this year. Shane Buechele, he's done a great job for my school, SMU, but, I think that he got beat out for injury reasons, but I think that Shane Buechele is a great late round option. I think maybe we should. That was a good idea to go Sam Ehlinger, right? Sam Ehlinger also is Mel Kiper's number 5 quarterback in the draft. Just saying. So Mel Kiper knows his shit. Is definitely somebody who we could stick in because if he sucks, it's a 5th round pick for Christ's sakes, right? It's like you never have to like really worry about like, oh man, we just invested half of our draft capital in that guy. No, DJ Carter could be a fun guy to go after. Add him to the rotation. DJ Carter's a stud, and he like low-key is falling. But let's look at all of our other needs here. We could always go edge, but we don't really need to go edge, right? Iowa's a really good run team. Like we could go another interior offensive lineman. With knowing us Bears fans, we know how often our offensive line gets injured. So the more offensive line we draft, probably the better. But obviously, we're not going to be going that right now. At this time, you go for like guys who have a lot of potential. And low-key, I've been saying this about a lot of teams. Where's the speed on the Bears? I know we have Patterson, but he's more of a threat, he's more of a big play threat than a deep play threat, if you guys get what I'm saying. He doesn't really possess the scariness of speed. He just is insane at his ball carrier vision and stuff. So honestly, I'm looking at Reggie Roberson and it's like that guy has some speed on him. We could definitely use him in that lineup. Talking about diversity with our wide receiver core, we don't have a speed burner. Now, I talk about this in every video. You have to mirror your teams in your division, and you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, more of a speed burner with some good route running skills, right? You have Devontae Adams, who he might not be the fastest guy, but he has some really good routes. That's kind of what you have in AR-12, right? Again, even on the Lions, they have a big wide receiver. It's very rare that you find anybody with speed in this division. And it could take them by storm. You look at the cornerbacks, and then you look at the safeties. The Vikings are losing Harris, right? They're losing Anthony Harris. And the Packers I don't know if Savage is really going to. Savage is pretty solid, and Amos as well. So there's definitely some good safeties in this division, but that might help get more separation underneath. So we're going to be going with some speed here. Reggie Roberson. I know you guys are probably going to kill me for that pick, but Reggie Roberson, as an SMU kid, I've seen how much of an impact he makes on our offense. So being able to get him and Adam to this diverse and very deep wide receiver core is going to be a very fun addition. And plus, I mean, I think it's going to be so worth it. He's made such a great, no offense, because I mean, one of my friends is Rashee Rice, the number 2 wide receiver on the team right now. He, losing Reggie was a huge deal, and I could see it in our offense. It's taken some wind out of our sails. So seeing that, I know that he actually means a lot to an actual offense, and the fear factor is just on another level. So I think getting him will actually add some really interesting additions to our wide receiver core. So now we have to look at other options, right? Tyreek Smith is definitely somebody I'm looking at here. You can never go wrong with adding some depth at edge, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. He can learn from Khalil Mack too. So honestly, that's probably where I'm going to be going. Or Big Cat Bryant, somebody who was formerly a second-round prospect. So we have potential with Big Cat Bryant here. Tyreek Smith's been pretty consistent in the 150 to 200 range, which is a pretty big gap. But Big Cat Bryant, right? He might be the guy here. Obviously, he hasn't had a very great year, which is why we can get him in the 6th round. But I think that's the way that we need to go, guys. Getting a guy like Big Cat Bryant, he just has a shit ton of potential. I've seen him make. I gave him more of a round 3 grade. He has potential there. So there's definitely something to be had with Big Cat Bryant, but we just gotta roll with the punches here. We can go Tyreek Smith as well if we want, but I'm going Tariq Castro Fields here. Add some extra cornerback rotation. These are just luxury picks because this team is stacked. You just fix that offensive line, you get your guys back healthy, and then you get a good quarterback eventually. Or Sam Ehlinger could prove to be a good quarterback. He doesn't make too many stupid errors. I like that about him, and I think you're kind of golden. So we don't have a 7th round pick, so I unfortunately believe that is our last pick. But just add some depth to this team. With the injuries that we've received, it's definitely going to be kind of a rough spot for us. But we can get out of it. There's a lot of potential on this team. So getting a guy like Sam Ehlinger could definitely push, if you even want to keep Mitch Trubisky around, could definitely push Mitch to actually work. So obviously there's not too many picks here. We fixed our offensive line right here. Myers is an excellent player. If you look at Ohio State's run blocking from last year, you'll see that holes are wide open. That's Wyatt Davis and Josh Myers for you. Those are 2 stud offensive linemen. You have also one of the better left tackles, in my opinion, arguably the best left tackle. This is given besides Penei Sewell in the left, one of the best tackles in the class. And watching the Bears' offensive line, even though there's injuries and everything, you need it. You need some infusion of youth on that line as well. Seth Williams, I don't know why he's falling to everybody. This is probably around where he should be taken, if not earlier. We could have taken him here, I would have been fine. But he has some weapon potential, man. He has some major potential in that Auburn offense. And I think that he could be our AR-12 replacement, and that would be awesome. Get your potential quarterback of the future, get some more speed up in here, and then, just take some luxury picks on guys who can learn from really good. They can learn from some really good pros. So I think the floor is really high for this draft. This is just a piece together before we just go all in on a new kid. So it's more of a retool than a rebuild, and I think that's the way we need to go. So let me know what you guys think, Bears fans. Obviously, this video is going to be posted very late, so I will most likely talk to you guys tomorrow. But have a great night, and I'll see you on the far side. Peace.